Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful sunny day today. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, our Tuesday's Talk, the Health Empowerment Reset. We're excited today to have an author. She's going to be talking about an amazing topic today. Is modern medicine collides with holistic integrated approach. So we're going to go around first, introduce ourselves, and then we'll have our speaker take the floor. Good morning again. My name is Martha King. I'm a certified health coach here in Hanover.
Hi, I'm Dr. DeWart Ray, and I am a gut health specialist here in Hanover. I have Vitality, Core Vitality, and I have a small little practice here in Hanover.
Thank you. Asha?
My name is Asha Scatchard. I'm a certified Brennan Healing Science practitioner. I have a practice in New York and a website, Energy Body Works. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha. Okay, so at this time, I'll have Kathi introduce herself and can have the floor, Kathi.
Okay, good morning. My name's Kathi Naumann. I'm speaking to you from the beautiful area of Maryland's Eastern Shore. And I am a health coach, a brain health coach, a stroke specialist, and now an author. And I am excited to speak to you today about my new book.
Well, Kathi, just tell us about, what inspired you to write the book, and just tell us the story behind all that, and how you mentioned about, the modern medicine merging with the holistic approach for stroke survival.
Okay, sure. I am also a physical therapist assistant, and my first 10 years of my career, I worked with a physical therapist who was certified in neurodevelopmental techniques. It's a 3-week certification, it's rare, and we became known as a stroke center in this area long before stroke centers were actually a thing. And I decided to leave that nursing home rehab and go to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in Manhattan and become a holistic health coach. I graduated from there in 2005 in June, and September of that same year, my father had a massive stroke. He was at age 60. So I then became the caregiver of someone who had had a stroke. And through most of his trials and tribulations and recovery, there were multiple medical mistakes that happened along the way. A lot of heartache, a lot of sadness. He almost died several times, unfortunately from drug overdose. But we realized that he responded much better to holistic and alternative medicine. And so he became my guinea pig. And he would ask me, Kathi, why do you think this happened to me? And after a while, after thinking about it for a while, I said, you know what, Dad, I think this happened to you because we're supposed to help other people. And so we started filming. I hired a videographer, and we sat down at a restaurant, and I used a napkin to lay it all out, exactly what I wanted to do with the videographer. And we started filming how to exercise and transfer him in and out of a car, bathroom, because he was very involved. And a lot of times you'll see transfer videos on YouTube, but they're people who are pretty high level. He was not one of those people. He lost partial visual field. So if he looked at a clock, he would see 1 through 6, and 6 through 12 would be dark. So when we brought him home, he would sit in a chair and his whole body would be turned 90 degrees to the right because he thought that was his world over there. He was left-handed, left-hand dominant too. And so we realized when he was in the hospital and he was only seeing half of the ticker at the bottom of the television screen that his eyes were affected. And because of that, he never drove, really functionally walked or worked again. So for the next 4 or 5 years, we spent teaching him how to read and how to transfer on his own, actually how to even be by himself, so that we could go to the store or whatever we needed to do and leave him alone and know he would be okay. So our starting point was teaching him how to find a piece of paper in front of him. And back then there were no smartphones with metronome beats or any fancy apps to help with his brain. So I would beat on the table with a spoon and put letters on the wall in front of him. And I physically would have to turn his head so that he would see the letters on the wall. And then each time I would hit the table, he would have to say a letter. And I would say that took about 3 or 4 weeks, 3 times a week before he could even do it. And he would cry and be frustrated, and sometimes we would have to give up. But we taught him how to read, and we taught him, we got him to the point where he could actually read out loud at a Bible study. So that was amazing. My first 3 attempts were to make a website so that people could go to a website and find the information that they needed. And 3 times it failed. Either the person who was helping me took another job, or they moved away, or whatever happened. And so I was reading one day a self-help book, and it said, when life gives you a roadblock, you should take a detour. And I thought, you know, I'm going to turn this into a book. And when I decided to do that in January of 2018, it all fell into place. It just flowed. And on May 22nd, I published a book. It's available on Amazon. It's got everything that a caregiver, an adult child caregiver, would need to know about a parent who's had a massive stroke. How do you get them from the hospital to home is written in this book with a holistic approach. So there's a section on brain health recipes, smoothies. There's an alternative medicine chapter. We did a lot of alternative medicine with him. And the real reason that we started even trying holistic medicine was he was unable to urinate on his own when he was discharged from the rehab. And they had to teach me to catheterize him. His own daughter had to learn how to catheterize him, her father. And it was, I never prayed probably in my life until that day, please God, don't make me have to do this. And when on my way home, when we got home, we'd taken the dining room table out and put his hospital bed in the dining room. I was reading an article that said that if you alternate hot and cold on the scrotum, that it will produce urination. It will induce it. And so we tried it, and it worked. We had a home care nurse, come in and catheterize him one time just to make sure that there was nothing in his bladder, and he was fine. And from that day on, he was able to urinate on his own. So I had a lot to learn, I guess, about the power of prayer and alternative medicine. And so that led us to hyperbaric oxygen. We tried Botox. There is a physician over on the Western Shore of Maryland named Dr. Bruce Rind, who created a product called Relax, which is vitamins and minerals that he uses an intravenous method with oxygen. And so we did that for a while. And he eventually, he had a lot of childlike behaviors. And I believe the hyperbaric oxygen really helped calm his brain And so there was nothing that we did alternative wise that really was like, wow, this really worked. But I think it was a combination of a lot of different modalities, massage, self-care, that helped heal him. And he unfortunately passed away 8 years later, but he passed away from Pseudomonas and MRSA, not from, you know, any complications from his stroke. So this is my book, The Self-Help Plan and Personal Journey of a Holistic Physical Therapist Assistant and Her Father. And I'll show you my father and mother on the first page. The top one is me working with him. We're actually with the videographer, and I have a little tagline there that says that we're working on his 6-pack. And that is my mother and father just having some reflective time, looking at the river here where we live. It's beautiful here.
Mhm.
There's a lot of pictures, which is nice. The alternative therapy section. Talks about aromatherapy and Feldenkrais method and goat yoga, which I think is really cool, secretly. Hyperbaric oxygen, mental imagery, mindfulness, omega-3s and the importance of omega-3s, power braining, which unfortunately I discovered a power braining program after he had passed away, but I believe that it would have really helped him. So what science has discovered is that the mind, body, and soul all need to work together to achieve a result. And so the power braining program works on the mind and the body at the same time. So you're doing light exercises while you're doing brain health challenges. And I really, truly believe that it would have really helped my father. I teach this program locally, and I've had some stroke recovering patients in my class, and they've done really, really well, really well. We talk about reflexology and range of motion, Reiki healing, sound healing, and there's stroke camps out there. There's vision therapy. There's a big section on vision therapy. There's an effective communication section because there are so many unnecessary deaths that happen because of miscommunication. So there's a whole section in here about how to communicate with the physician. Here's some beautiful pictures and recipes for brain health smoothies. And my book is available on Amazon. And if you just type in stroke support, it should pop up. There's free videos and exercise videos on my website, which is KathiNaumann.com, KathiNaumann.com. And that pretty much sums it up. Do you have any questions?
Wow.
Is it a wow?
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you
you
for sharing your story, and sorry for your loss of your father. How old was he then when he passed away?
He was 68.
Okay. Oh,
So he had he had a stroke when he was 60 and passed away at 68.
A couple of things that you mentioned when you said a while ago, when you said the power of prayer. I want to add more to that. I think it's more of you became a believer that this was in your being, and you wanted, and you knew somehow that this was going to do the work. And I like the part when you talk about combining the two pieces. You talk about the conventional medicine which is needed when it's an emergency in a chronic, an acute stage. But of course, the maintenance and the chronic afterwards of things, the integrated approach, I think is beautiful. It gives people a lot of options to choose from and a lot of choices, a lot of flavors to select from. And I promote the book. I think is what you have there. It's a summary of amazing things, and I think everyone out there needs to know about that. So the book is right now on Amazon for sale.
It is. It's nice because it gives you the ability to understand that there are more than one way. Mm-hmm. There's more than one way to look at health. And I'm excited that people are becoming more open to alternative and integrative medicine. And sometimes I think that you need both. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the conventional medicine saved his life, but the alternative medicine gave him his life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Kathi, I loved your talk today. I thought you brought up some amazing points. I had to take care of my father when he come to live with my husband and I right before he passed. And I can totally sympathize with you when you talk about putting a catheter in your father, because I had to too. And I've done it many times. It never bothered me until it's your father.
Right.
So that was a whole new adventure for me. And I had to learn and grow from that. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that. You just got to get over it and do it because you have to, right? But I also agree so much with your comment about how people try one integrative modality and then they say, oh, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. The reality of it is sometimes you got to go through different modalities to find what does work for you. And I totally agree with what you're saying about how there's different modalities that work together that make an even bigger impact than maybe one or two alone. So I totally agree with that. And I find that's more often the case than not. You got to try a couple different things to get what really works for you. So I think that was an important point that you brought up. So I loved your talk. I love the book. I am hoping to continue to tell people about it and get the word out there because it's such an important topic. And I think it's important to know the steps to take when you have somebody who is sick, and you now become the primary caregiver and you don't have any medical training, or you've never been a certified nursing assistant or anything like that. And I think it's really hard for wives in particular to become a caregiver of somebody who they've never had that training. They don't know how to navigate the medical system, and you hear that story unfortunately a lot. And I think this book is really going to be powerful for those individuals, and not only help them navigate the medical system and maybe how to help their family come home, but also how to really care for them. And you made such a good point when you said give their life back, help them have good quality of life after the fact. So thanks for writing this book. I think it's great.
Thank you. Yeah, you're starting over with a new set of rules for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate all your kind words. There's a lot of work that goes behind a book, but there's also a lot of heartache that went behind this one. And I hope that that my father lives on in these pages and that we can truly help other people, because that's really why I wrote the book, is because I really don't want people to go through what we went through unnecessarily. So I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Asha?
Well, I loved your talk, Kathi. I loved the piece about how you face the challenge and seeing basically the blessing in the challenge. and that your father recognized that also. I mean, it is so beautiful because we go through so many challenges in life, and they're either going to defeat us or we become so much more. And I think your book is going to have such far-reaching effects. It was just for you and your dad such a gift, and you were so magnificent as well as him.
Oh,
So thank you so much. It was so great.
thank
So
you.
great.
I appreciate that very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think when we share the personal story and you have it down on pages and chapters, and people are going to connect with that book, and it's going to be like a guide or a daily guide, through the process, and it's just keeping your dad's legacy alive through the process as well. So that for sure.
It was a soul searching process for me to even answer with the fact that, Dad, I think that we're supposed to help other people. I don't know where it even came from. It just came from deep inside me somewhere one day. And I thought, okay, now that I've said it, how are we going to help people? But as a physical therapist, a stroke physical therapist, becoming a caregiver put me in a different, completely different perspective. And I didn't even know what to do. And I was in the field. So I hope that when people grab this book, it can truly change their life. That's my goal. And I really appreciate you having me on your little show here.
Oh, we're honored. We're very honored to have, you, and just, the background and just sharing this personal story. That's just huge. That's just huge. And allowing us to trust us in this panel. So, yeah.
Martha, can I add one thing?
Yes.
I also think it's real important for caregivers to recognize the job they have, that they too need to take care of themselves, because it's 24/7, and it's a hard job. So they must remember, take care of themselves.
That's a great point, Asha. Thank you for bringing that up as well. Yeah.
And the book is sprinkled with ways to care for the caregiver to really care for themselves.
That's
and how
great.
important it is. And there's a whole section on how to keep a medical journal and what to look for in a rehab. When you go to the rehab, what are you looking for? Why don't you just pick a rehab out of the hat and send your loved one there? What do you really need to look for when you're sending a stroke patient to a rehab?
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. Do you have have you advertised that on your Facebook page that maybe we can share in our pages?
Actually, I have a social media person who's working on it. I just published this book on May 22nd.
Okay.
So it is on my Facebook page,
Okay.
but there's not a link yet. We're still in the infancy stages of marketing it.
Okay.
So we're going to grow together.
I like that. Let me know when that's ready, and we definitely will help you reach.
Absolutely. I would love to publish stuff on my media outlets as well to help get the word out about it. So keep us posted when that happens, Kathi.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
People able to purchase, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Any final comments before we? Okay.
Nope. Just thank you for coming. This was a great, great talk this week.
Yes,
An important conversation to have. So we appreciate it.
Very much. Kathi, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us, and it was an honor. And I want to thank you, everyone out there, for listening. We are just so happy to be here today, and with a special topic. And we will have another one next week. So thank you for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.